friends! Thanks for coming to visit. Today we're going to be making baked meringue. Have you ever had those crispy, airy, little kiss-shaped, naturally gluten-free cookies? Yeah, those. Normally these little guys are made with egg whites, but did you know that the water in a can of chickpeas, also known as Aquafaba, contains proteins that are quite similar to egg whites? So similar, in fact, that you are able to whip them into a stiff, stable foam. And since I'm a stickler for wasting as little in our kitchen as possible, when I opened a can of chickpeas the other day, I decided this was what we were going to make together. First things first, let's set our oven to 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Now here are the ingredients we will need for our baked meringue. The liquid from a 15-ounce can of chickpeas, cold, or 5 egg whites at room temperature, a 1/4 teaspoon cream of tartar, 2/3 cup of sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 3 tablespoons of a topping of your choice. Here's my handy dandy stand mixer fitted with a whisk attachment. If you have a hand mixer, that works fine too. Manually operated egg beaters will just take a long time to whip, and even longer a whisk and some old-fashioned elbow grease and a lot of dedication. But it will work. No matter what your mixing equipment of choice, the most important thing is to thoroughly wipe down your equipment. Traces of any kind of fat, water, or soap can prevent your mixture from foaming. If you put a little bit of white vinegar on a towel, it makes for a nice, safe cleaning agent. So let's get to whipping. I'm going to pour my Aquafaba into a bowl along with my 1/4 teaspoon cream of tartar and start whipping on medium-low speed until I can't see the bottom of my bowl anymore. The cream of tartar is to increase the stability of your foam. It's okay if you don't have it on hand, it's just more of an insurance policy. While we're waiting, let's talk Aquafaba. Breaking down the word, we're going to go back to its Latin roots. Aqua meaning water, faba meaning bean. Ta-da! Bean water. But Aquafaba sounds so much nicer, we can actually thank a Facebook group dedicated to vegan meringues for the cool name, so thank you. Aquafaba is technically the cooking water from any legume, but it most popularly refers to chickpeas. If your Aquafaba is like mine and coming from a can, here are a few things to think about. You'll want to shake your can of chickpeas before straining out the water. It will help release the starches that have settled on the bottom of the can. It will help add stability to your future foam. You'll also want to check your can to see if the water is salted or not. The one I'm using today is, but I'm going to add my 1/4 teaspoon of salt anyway because I like my sweet salty. Let's catch up with our bowl. So I can still see the bottom, so I'm not going to add my sugars yet. I'm going to be patient. I am going to be patient. And go. But only a tablespoon at a time. I'm going to very slowly incorporate my sugar, which I've already added my salt to, while also increasing the speed of my mixer to medium-high. To understand why we need to be patient, we have to understand what's going on inside our bowl. Bubbles and hugs! Egg whites and Aquafaba are both high in proteins, and proteins are normally these coiled up looking things. As we agitate our protein-filled liquid, this is actually making them unwind. Think about us when we get a massage. Once these guys are unwound and chilling out, they notice the bubbles that have joined the party and decide to give them a really big hug. These proteins have now captured and suspended that air. So why is sugar late to the party? Well, sugar slowed down your proteins from unwinding, so we want to give our little buddies the best chance of stretching out their legs and relaxing. We don't want to add all the sugar at once. Why? By adding the sugar little by little, we give it the highest chance of dissolving quickly into our foaming liquid, and once our sugar turns into a syrup, it's going to join the hugging party, helping to protect and connect our little air bubble friends. Think bubble wrap. Now, all our sugar is added, but we still have to wait for our foam to get to stiff peaks. If you are adding any kind of extract to flavor your meringues, now would be the time. While we're working to get to stiff peaks, we're going to stop the machine as little as possible to check our peaks, because our bubbles start deflating as soon as we turn off the mixer. What we're going to look for is defined ribbons in the foam, and you can see the mixture starting to pull away from the sides of the bowl. If you're using egg whites, it is possible to overwhip them, so you'll want to be a little more careful. Here we have a healthy, stiff peak. Congratulations, you made French meringue! So what do we do now? I have my sheet tray here, but before I set my parchment down, I'm going to place little dollops of meringue in the corners and press the parchment down on top. This is going to secure my parchment so that as I pipe or spoon my meringue, the paper isn't lifting up on me and shifting and moving my little buddies around. There are a bunch of ways to get your meringue onto your sheet tray. I happen to have a piping bag and a piping tip. I'm using a number 3 Ateco. Don't have those? Not a problem. You can take a zip top bag, tape a corner to stiffen it, and then clip the tip. Voila! Makeshift pastry bag. Or you can say fuck it and just dollop using a pair of spoons like so. I personally am going to take advantage of my piping bag, but the great thing about thicker plastic piping bags and zip top bags is that it's durable enough to withstand a washing so that you can rinse them under hot water and let them air dry for future use. I've piped my meringue here in 2 different ways. There's the traditional kiss shapes, and then the other half I have piped into flat rounds. The flat rounds are my personal favorite because I think it gives your meringues a better mouthfeel. They almost end up being like wafer cookies, and they melt on your tongue. But whatever shape, size, color, toppings, it's all up to you. I had some sesame seeds and pumpkin seeds hidden in the back of my cupboard, so here they are. I lightly toasted and salted them, and then I crushed up my pumpkin seeds for ease of sprinkling. For toppings and flavorings though, the possibilities are literally endless. Crushed up cereal, any kinds of toasted and crushed nuts, chocolate chips, any kind of spices, all the types of extracts. The one caveat is cocoa powder. You can fold it into an egg white meringue to give you chocolate meringues, but you cannot add it to an Aquafaba foam. It's too much fat for our little foam to handle and it will deflate. When I'm all done sprinkling my toppings, I'm going to pop my meringues into the oven for 1 to 2 hours depending on how crispy I want them and the size of my meringues. This is the go with your gut moment. If you want to check them, you can take a pair of scissors and clip around one of your little guys, place it on the counter to cool for like 30 seconds, then peel the parchment and give it a taste. When they're ready, pop them out of the oven and let them cool. Once they do cool, which shouldn't take long, you want to store them in an airtight container in a dry, cool spot. They will keep at room temperature for 2 to 3 days depending on the level of humidity. If they do start to get sticky, you can always pop them back in the low oven for 20 to 30 minutes. So I'm going to store mine after I have one more. Okay, now I'm done. I can't wait to hear about your creations. Enjoy!